Hey, hey, hey! It's greetings and salutations to people of the interwebs. Today we are looking at issue numero 18 of the IDW Bold New Era continuity of Transformers. This one's called Arcee slash Greenlight. Run! Um, so yeah, this issue follows Arcee and Greenlight and the mentee Gage, who was a young Cybertronian who was just brought online after Brainstorm's death, and they're kind of like worried about the state of Cybertron, and is it currently a place to bring up a new Cybertronian with such promise as Gage, and they're discussing about going on the ship with the reversionists, who, even though they don't really, they're not matched with the ideals of the reversionists, but it looks like it could be the only ship that's going to get off Cybertron at this moment in time, and that is when we snap into the conclusion of the last issue, and the tether between the moon and Cybertron is severed and starts to fall onto Cybertron. And this is like this horrifying disaster. We're doing spoilers, by the way. I like this issue. Let's before we go full spoilers. I like this issue. You can tell them because I'm straight into the plot. I'm straight in just talking about it. Yeah, it's fast paced. It's frantic. It puts you on the ground because these aren't characters that we usually follow. So it's just like this one-off little slice of life within the continuity, not showing characters that we usually follow. So it feels more real. It feels more like this is what such a disaster does to just the everyday citizens of Cybertron. And that's what I really like about it, because obviously these aren't. Arcee is kind of like ex-military from what I gather, and Greenlight is some kind of scientist, and Gage is a young baby Cybertronian. Not quite baby, but adolescent Cybertronian, is the kind of, as they're forged in that kind of awkward, not knowing what they quite want to do yet with their life phase. So it's a family unit that all of a sudden this disaster happens around, and that's so it's written by Brian Rugley, art by Bethany mcguire-smith, and forgive me if I completely butcher this pronunciation, Umi Meow. Doing that, we've got Josh Bertram on the colours and Jake M. Woods on the lettering. So there's a great use of lights and darks in this issue, which is probably mostly quite a lot of Josh's work, but it just gives that very real, disaster has happened, and being the type of people they are, they go out trying to help, help the people, and then they come across a couple of looters. The security forces are having trouble with them. Arcee's like, and no one fires because I think Gage gets shot, but it's not a lethal. They've not got high-powered guns, so it's not a lethal shot. It's just like a stun. But Arcee's like, please, don't mess with my family unit, and just goes over and just does, just kicks some ass, as she does. And that's what I kind of like about this is even though it's a completely new continuity, and I think we've seen this with a couple of characters, they've kind of plucked where these characters were in their kind of character journey, and kind of plucked them from there, and then just adjusted it slightly, but still, recognizable. This isn't just Arcee. This is IDW Arcee, and there's a very different, big difference between, G1 cartoon / comic Arcee and G1 IDW Arcee. And this is very much IDW Arcee. She's a former soldier who appears to have, seen some shit in her days, who is now become part of a family unit. And that's kind of where cutting out like some of the more wacky, crazy things that went on in the earlier start of Arcee's IDW characteristics. We've trimmed down some of those, but that bottled essence of a damaged warrior who is now found herself capable of being in a family unit. And I think that's where we left her at the end of the IDW continuity. And this is where we pick her up in this version, in this new continuity. That's where we pick up this character of someone who's damaged but has managed to be the member of the family unit and be the dependable one. So yeah, they counter these looters. Gut Cruncher gets away, and the security force is going, oh yeah, thanks for your help and all that type of stuff. And Arcee's then, he was a bit resilient to leaving Cybertron with the reversionist, was like, yeah, Greenlight, get your stuff. We've got to go. We have got to go. So they just shoot speed through Cybertron. There's other disasters going on that they have to drive through, even getting warnings from Red Alert and Grapple, but still traveling through all these explosions and stuff. It's exciting. It's very exciting. It's actually very exciting. And they get to the airport, and there's a mass spaceport. Sorry. They get to the spaceport, and there's a mass panic. Everyone has decided that they want to try and get on this ship because shit, the tether's just come down, and it's wrapping itself around Cybertron. People are dying. It's horrific. So people just want to escape, but they can't, and the security forces are holding them off. And again, Arcee's like, right, Greenlight, Gage, get out of here. I'm going to cause a distraction, and she just starts a punch up, and Greenlight and Gage manage to get on the ship, and they think they're going to have to leave without Arcee, but as the shuttle bay doors close, hanging on to the door is battered and beaten, but smiling and happy, Arcee. And that's where we leave these characters. So yeah, I think, it's a wonderful job of just conveying what it's like I said, for those everyday Cybertronians in this disaster, to just give, a break from the main plots that are going on, the plots within plots, and to just say, hey, this is Cybertron now. And hopefully also we'll put these characters, I think they're going to be in a couple of issues of the Galaxies that are coming up, so obviously they're on board the ship now of these reversionists who have ideals that they may or may not mesh with in their little family unit. So I'm looking forward to picking up with those characters again, and yeah, cracking issue of this bold new continuity. It's, I say this every time. It's picking up. It's picking up, and every time it gets a little bit better. I really quite like the art here. It's again the with Josh doing the colours, that the two artist styles match quite closely, so we don't really notice any kind of jarring kind of but yeah, and this has come a long way. I just love this has come a long way from where we were like maybe 10 issues ago, and it's only going to get better if they keep the same creative team. I think, you know, Brian Ruckley's been the ties that bind him have been unbound. The more and more interior work the artists get to do, the better and better they're getting, and yeah, it's a good time again to be a fan of Transformers comics. Not a lot of people I've seen have been poo-pooing this, but I think the slow first arc did hamper people getting on board with this continuity, and I think that's a shame, because those of us who've stuck with it, I think, are really enjoying this. And yeah, it's a good time to be a Transformers comic book fan, because not only do we get this, and we get the Galaxies, which is also being highly entertaining. We've got coming up, we've got the Transformers 84 continuity, which is getting another mini-series, so that should be exciting. And then Transformers versus Terminator. What's that all going to be about? So that's going to come up. So I might have to be quite busy with these videos. But there again, the state of the world is in the moment. I should imagine there's going to be a few delays. But we already have issue 19 in the house. I've already read it, and spoilers, I've enjoyed it. So we'll be talking about that at some point next week, or this week, or whenever your class of week is starting. Until then, be excellent to each other. We might even talk about some toys at some point. Still need to look at those Constructicons again, don't we? Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. And because you deserve it, and this is virtual, so we can actually practice social distancing. Way to date your show, Richard. Bestow!